Well, Way of Piss is gonna be here soon. Let's get this dealt with. Hey everyone, it's Don G. Corleone here, and I'm here with a brand new movie review. And you can tell by this movie review, I'm actually sleeping through this one because this film was so long and boring and I just felt like I decided to just film myself sleeping while voice recording over myself sleeping for this whole thing. However, this is going to be a semi-rant because there were some things I guess I did kind of like in this film, but this semi-rant is going to be from one of the most overrated movies of 2009. It's one of those films I like I hate that almost the whole critics like, and that film is obviously going to be for 2009's Avatar. And you want to know why? Because we got Way of Piss coming out in a week, so I thought I'd have to get this review done now, because I wanted to do this before that sequel comes out, before I do a semi or epic rant on that. But anyway, what's the plot of this movie? Well, when his brother is killed in a robbery, paraplegic Marine Jake Sully decides to take his place in a mission on the distant world of Pandora. There he learns greedy corporate figurehead Parker Selfridge's intentions of driving off the native humanoid Na'vi in order to mine for the precious materials scattered throughout the rich woodland. In exchange for the spinal surgery that will fix his legs, Jake gathers knowledge of the indigenous race and their culture from the cooperating military unit spearheaded by gun-ho Colonel Quaritch, while simultaneously attempting to affiliate the Na'vi people with the use of an avatar identity. While Jake begins to bond with a native tribe and quickly falls in love with the beautiful alien Natiri, the restless colonel moves forward with his ruthless extermination tactics, forcing the soldier to take a stand and fight back in an epic battle for the fate of Pandora. So how was this made? Well, it all started in 1994 when director James Cameron wrote an 80-page treatment for Avatar, drawing inspiration from every single science fiction book he had read in his childhood, as well as from adventure novels by Edgar Rice Burroughs and H. Rider Haggard. In August 1996, Cameron announced that after completing Titanic, he would film Avatar, which would make use of synthetic or computer-generated actors. The project would cost $100 million and involve only 6 actors in leading roles, who appear to be real but do not exist in a specific world. According to him, Visual Effects House Digital Domain, with whom Cameron had a partnership, joined the project, which was supposed to begin production in mid-1997 for a 1999 release. However, Cameron felt the technology had not caught up with the story and vision that he intended to tell. He decided to concentrate on making documentaries and refining the technology for the next few years. It was revealed in a Bloomberg Business Week cover story that 20th Century Fox had fronted $10 million to Cameron to film a proof-of-concept clip for Avatar, which he showed the Fox executives in October 2005. Then in February 2006, Cameron revealed that his film project 880 was a retooled version of Avatar, a film he had tried to make years earlier, citing the technology advances in the creation of the computer-generated characters, Gollum, King Kong, and Davy Jones. Cameron had chosen Avatar over his project Battle Angel after completing 5-day camera testing the previous year. He should have stuck with Battle Angel because that was better than this. From January to April 2006, Cameron worked on the script and developed the culture for the film's aliens, the Na'vi, Na'vi. Their language was created by Dr. Paul Frommer, a linguist at USC. The Na'vi language had a lexicon of about 1,000 words, with some 30 added to Cameron. The tons of phonemes included ejective consonants that are found in Aramaic and the additional NG that Cameron may have taken from T-Real Maori. And then actress Sigourney Weaver and the film set designers met with Jody S. Holtz, professor of plant physiology at University of California, Riverside, to learn about the methods used by botanists to study and sample plants, to discuss ways to explain the communication between Pandora's organisms depicted in the film. Anyway, after all the whole production stuff, and the movie was obviously shot, marketed, advertised all over the world that whole year, Avatar was budgeted at $237 million due to a groundbreaking area of new visual effects Cameron achieved in cooperation with Weta Digital in Wellington. Another estimates put the cost between $280 million for $310 million for production and at $150 million for promotion. The film made extensive use of new motion capture filming techniques and was released for traditional viewing, 3D viewing using Real D 3D, Dolby 3D, X-Band D 3D, and IMAX 3D formats, and 4D experiences in select South Korean theaters. Avatar then premiered in London on December 10, 2009, and was released in the United States on December 18, 2009 to positive reviews, with critics praising the groundbreaking visual effects. And during its theatrical run, the film broke several box office records and became the highest-grossing film at the time, as well as in the United States and Canada, surpassing Cameron's Titanic, which had held those records for 12 years. And Avatar remained the highest-grossing film for nearly a decade until it was briefly overtaken by Avengers Endgame in 2019, but then somehow a Chinese re-release of Avatar again led to the film retaking the worldwide top spot in March 2021, where it has been ever since for no reason. Adjusted for inflation, it's actually the second highest-grossing movie of all time after Gone with the Wind, with a total of more than $3 billion. And also became the first film to gross more than $2 billion. The best-selling video title of 2010 in the United States. And Avatar was then nominated for 9 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director, and won 3, which was Best Art Direction, Cinematography, and Visual Effects. The success of the film led to electronics manufacturers re-releasing 3D televisions and caused 3D films to increase in popularity. And following the film's success, Cameron signed with 20th Century Fox to produce 4 sequels, Avatar: The Way of Water and Avatar 3 have completed principal filming and are scheduled to be released in 2022 and 2024 respectively. Subsequent sequels are also going to release in 2026 and 2028 depending on Way of Water's success, and several cast members are expected to return, including Worthington, Saldana, Lane, and Weaver. Now, when it comes to my reaction, well, I did used to like this movie in middle school, and I remember seeing it in theaters in 3D, and I thought it was pretty well shot for the time. As I have rewatched it thousands of times on DVD ever since, it has started to not age well as the years of progress. Like, as the years of progress, people have begun pointing out its flaws, and have started to say that it was bad or even overrated as hell. James Cameron has not been in a good state since Titanic, and I'll say I really hated Titanic more than this, because that movie was a disgusting insult to the tragedy of that ship sinking and its victims, and it was also overly long for no reason. Let me preface this by saying I was a huge James Cameron fan at the time, and I think Terminator is a masterpiece of sci-fi and is one of the best edited films of all time. Aliens is easily the best of the Alien sequels. And then you have Abyss, which created an interesting world and racked with tension. Terminator 2 is an action tour de force, and has what I believe the best sound editing and design of all time. Then you had True Lies, which is goofy fun, more potent than most give it credit for, with a buffoon ending, was the last good James Cameron film to date. And if he had retired from directing after that, it would have been a perfect send-off, where his fame started with Arnold Schwarzenegger and ended with Arnold Schwarzenegger. But nope, he went the dark path and directed shit like that, and now this. The film does have some good things for it, but it has not aged well, like I've already said. Okay, I'm gonna get through the bad parts first. As others have stated, the storyline and plot is a little lacking. I had trouble understanding the motivations of many of the characters. And now I asked the character development. That would have been nice too. Don't expect any here. Yes, it's a recycled and reused plot, cliched and often predictable. It seems reminiscent of many great classics, my favorite being Star Wars, and I'll be the first, now Star Wars may have not been completely original at the time, but basically Lucas practically made it his own, with his original characters in a unique setting, and it actually had a plan to begin with. Avatar is literally plagiarism. We even get practically no character background at all, so we have no idea what makes these people tick. Perhaps it would have been more if the edited version was already a staggering 2 hours and 40 minutes. Instead we get one-dimensional stock characters that have me rolling my eyes underneath the whole time on rewatch. And lastly, the film is dosed with lessons in morality from Mr. Cameron. It is a bland criticism of U.S. foreign policy. Not everyone will pick up on this, which I would understand, since most of us want mindless entertainment at the movies, not crap like this. But upon closer review, I don't see how some people cannot see it. One of the evil characters actually said, "We'll fight terror with terror." Though, mind you, they're attacking a planet filled with some random inhabitants, of course. Now, I don't mind a little political satire here and there, but it seems misplaced on what is seemingly intended as a mindless entertainment popcorn flick. And to give an example of the poor storytelling, lack of motivation, the evil humans are attacking the peaceful planet Pandora in hopes of getting more Ubotinium. But Cameron never bothers to tell us why. It's barely even mentioned. Is it just pretty and shiny like gold, or as many have brilliantly pointed out, this stuff could save lives on Earth for all we know? It is never explained, and the movie makers just assume you will accept it and not care what the reason is. And now we have our characters. Semi-Rant plays our main character, Jake Sully, a paraplegic ex-marine who is sent to a distant moon to help humans mine a mineral called badium, whatever the hell it's called. It seems there's a huge cache of stuff under a huge tree in a jungle that's populated by an indigenous race called the Na'vi, these blue-skinned, really tall people with feeling characteristics that look like blue freaking monkeys. And meanwhile, the scientific program headed by Grace Augustine, played by Sigourney Weaver, has focused on learning as much as possible about the Na'vi in order to benefit scientific knowledge. And Augustine's research involves the use of avatars in which scientists form a psychological link with a mock-up that looks like a native Na'vi, the better for the humans to exist within the unbreathable atmosphere. Jake gets inside the Na'vi within his avatar and attempts to find out what they would want in exchange for moving from away from the giant store of Palladium during the course of his mission. And he falls for the Na'vi's chief daughter, Neytiri. Of course he does, because, well, we know this character's an unlikable prick. And as said mission drags on, Jake professes change from meth head prick to true loving unlikable prick. And he begins to wonder if what he's doing is right. Is he serious? You're an alien race, and have no business on the moon. Your player's stated goal is to gobble up all the jewels you can find, rape the planet, and your player will stop at nothing to get it. As he answers to no one. You're being sent down to a diplomatic way to screw the eggs out of the bounty in which they sit. And you think this might be wrong? A power grab ensues when the military leader of the human exposition decides enough is enough, named Colonel Quaritch, decides enough is enough and wants to burn the hell out of the Na'vi with the approval of the head of the company, Parker Silveridge, their painfully obvious name. The sets of the rather obvious showdown between the primitive Na'vi and the gun-ho ex-marine humans. We have missiles and guns and ammo, rockets, helicopters, and who knows, even just a Star Destroyer or two. The final battle scene is overly reminiscent of the Battle of Endor, Return of the Jedi. Yeah, the whole final battle rips off easily the greatest send-off to Star Wars, in which the primitive Ewoks managed to defeat a stormtrooper army using only their quick wits and some old-school homemade traps of destruction. The fact that this movie wants us to follow this unlikable main prick is a big flaw in itself. This movie literally should have been about Miles Quaritch and the Sky People from their perspective, because I found them to be the most likable characters in the movie, and they're supposed to be seen as evil just because they destroyed some random big-ass tree I don't give a shit about, in order to destroy these blue monkeys that are supposed to be seen as likable, peaceful creatures, but all they do is shoot anything, and I mean anything, that comes into the Force, even if it's not a weapon. Like, literally our somewhat first introduction to them is you literally see this truck with arrows shot into its tires. Like, it's not like the truck did anything to you guys. It has all the elements of a good blockbuster, though. Some spectacular visual effects, a clear black and white morality, attractive stars and fast-paced action, but in my mind it completely misses any qualities that might make it a critical favorite. So why is it anyway? Roger Ebert apparently claimed it was a flat-out green and anti-war message. Now some people would argue that this message is bought so over the top and corny that it ruins immersion and makes the story too ludicrously black and white. I would go a step further. This has nothing to do with actual environmentalism and pacifism. This is just pretense, symbolical politics that has nothing to do with the actual issues. And environmentalism is not about being against evil corporations, but about offering an alternative and working with that. It's not about going back to nature, but about improving our current society in such a way that it becomes more sustainable. And in short, worshipping hunter-gatherer society is not environmentalism, but escapism. It is refusing to improve your own society and instead idolize another. Pacifism, even similar, is not about fighting with bows and arrows instead of tanks and helicopters. It's not about joining a society in which no individualism exists, which everyone must submit to the greater goal. I wasn't joining your side in any way connected to any war. If this is really meant allegorically, should Western pacifists go to Afghanistan and start killing U.S. soldiers? Of course not. Cameron doesn't make his heroes kill the soldiers as a metaphor for killing them in real life. That is a metaphor for making them go away. Oh, wouldn't it be nice if there were no more imperialists? Well, sure. But stopping imperialism, whatever, I'm not mentioning this, like, no attempt is even made to reflect an actual solution to a problem, but imagine your totalitarian solution is idolized, and the biggest problem is the persistence to provide so much of Pandora and the Na'vi way of life. It languishes in Pandora for so long that you begin to crave some human reality, not the paucity of how wonderful the world looks. Na'vi are not given enough screen time for us to have a natural empathy for them. Instead, the film focuses on spirituality and the beauty of Pandora. The second act is unashamedly stereotypical and preachy about the natural world. The second half needed to inject fresh impetus after initially technical offering, but it plants itself in very run-of-the-mile territory. And another gripe is the runtime. Ugh, this movie is way too fucking long. Like, this film should have just been a two-parter due to how long as hell this film is. It even does this stupid liar reveal cliche that I really hate, like what they did in A Bug's Life and other stupid children's flicks that do this cliche. And now I want to mention the director James Cameron. He's now another director that has also lost my respect. And I really don't know why I said that, but whatever. I'll get to that stuff later in the Avatar 2 review, but okay. Maybe I'm going way too hard now. I'm going to get on with the good stuff now before you all go attacking me for my opinion on this film. First off, yeah, like I said, the visuals look nice. It does kind of give you the feel that you are in the world of this film. Second of all, I do love the character of Miles Quaritch, and what sucks is he's supposed to be seen as the villain. No one's really trying to do is save Earth, and you're supposed to somehow hate him. I think he's the most likable character in the movie, and I wish he were the protagonist, and they were about the sky people instead of these blue douchebags we're not supposed to be following. Third, there's one moment when Jake Sully does get a laugh out of me. When in the scene he meets Neytiri, those retarded jellyfish things, whatever the hell they're called, are landing on him, and he first whacks some of them away when they're about to land on him. And it's like, I probably would whack those things too if they were landing on me as well. And finally, I'll admit this too. There were scenes where I did like Zoe's performance, such as whenever she does cry when the tree of voice is destroyed, when she finds out Jake is a traitor and yells at him, and when she cries over her dead dad during the home tree's destruction. I really like those moments. Like, if you think about it, without this movie, you probably wouldn't have had her portrayal of Gamora in any other film she's been in ever since this film without its success. And this was after she was almost about to quit acting following her unhappy time filming Curse of the Black Pearl. Yeah. If you're wondering why I lost respect for James Cameron recently, because apparently he said something about some human body thing, like penis toxin that men should be throwing out. Well, I don't want to get into details about that, but I just lost my respect for him. You can just watch Tyrone Magnus' video, would explain a little better. Just watch that. So, despite those few good qualities, I find Avatar so overrated as hell. I guess if you're really interested in checking it out, then maybe just stream it if you really want to check it out that bad if you haven't seen it. But don't expect a masterpiece, and don't expect it to be as good as many people seem to call it. This movie's overrated as hell, and it's definitely pretty bad. Anyway, that's it for my review of my semi-rant on Avatar, and if you're wondering how I'm going to rank Avatar, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, if you want to find the film that revolutionized 3D, then I would recommend just streaming this one because it's not as overly great as people make it out to be. And if you're wondering how I'm going to rank Avatar, I'm going to give Avatar a 5.5 out of 10. And there we go. That pretty much wraps up my semi-rant for Avatar. Now I just gotta wait for The Way of Piss to come out next week. And I can tell you that movie's probably going to be even worse. But I'm still gonna film either review or rant on it anyways, because just for you guys to entertain my people on my channel, since they'll obviously want to know my thoughts about it. And I'm gonna need some way to close off 2022. But until then, guys, that'll be it for this semi-rant. Thank y'all for watching. If you like this and want to see more, and don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.